Welcome back to Mac Talks Football. It's the quarter-final stage of the Champions League. We have finally reached into the last eight. So many games, new format, but we have finally reached into the last eight, and we have got an exciting set of matches. If I'm being very honest with you, a lot of teams which have never, which have not been in this. A phase of the tournament for quite a lot of time. Arsenal being the obvious one here. Aston Villa being first time, for a long time that they are going to be in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. So it's going to be really exciting for them. You have two German teams, you have two Spanish teams, and of course the French representative and in PSG and the Italian representative in Inter Milan. So it's going to be quite an interesting set of games, as I said. So let's go ahead and make our prediction. The first game, it is Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. It is the German, possibly the German champions versus the possible Inter champion. The Italian champions. I think the game is going to be really interesting. Specifically, I will talk about the first leg. If you look at the squad that Bayern Munich currently have, I mean they are they have been hit with so many injuries. They don't really have that many players. Neuer is out, Upamecano is out. Then you have Ito is out as well, and then of course Musiala got injured over the weekend as well. So Bayern really don't have that many fit players. The squad that they would have liked to go with. In the first leg, I think Bayern Munich are quite depleted courtesy of the injuries that they have. Versus Inter Milan, they themselves have a couple of injuries, but I don't think it's gonna matter that much because most of the squad that Inzaghi would have liked to pick, and I think he would have gone with, most of them are available. I think it's going to be quite a hard-fought tie. Inter, they are a treble chasing a side. They are chasing a treble this season, so that's going to be a special feeling for them as well. Bayern Munich won over the weekend in their title quest. Inter, on the other hand, they drew over the weekend, but luckily for them, so did Napoli and Atalanta ended up losing. So I don't think that draw hurt them that much. This game, I think it will be very tough. If I'm being very honest with you, just because even though it's Bayern Munich, but because they are depleted with so many injuries, I think Inter might shock everybody here, and I think that's going to be their advantage. I think there's going to be quite a shock result. It's not going to be that high scoring of a game, but I think Inter are going to nick it in the end. I'm going for a 1-0 win for Inter Milan. Moving on to the second quarterfinal, which involves my team, Arsenal. They are playing against Real Madrid. Of course, if you are going to play against Real Madrid in the Champions League, that is probably one of the hardest ties to play against, because it's Real Madrid and it is Champions League. And I've been saying this since the start of the season, even when they did not look that good in the competition. I always said, because it's Champions League and it's Real Madrid, you always have to give them a chance. But at the moment, again, as with Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, they really don't have any defense. They don't really have a goalkeeper that they would have liked to. Most of their defense wing backs are not there. Center backs are not there. They are really hit with the injuries. Up front, they are perfect. In the midfield, they are perfect, but they are really struggling with injuries in the defensive sector. If you look at Arsenal, on the other hand, I would still say that Arsenal themselves, we really don't have personnel up front that we would have liked. Both of the teams are not really full strength. I think the game is going to be basically if Arsenal's injury hit attack can match up with Madrid's injury hit defense. That is going to be the question of the tie. I think the game is going to be quite interesting. Arsenal, Arteta has already said that he wants the fans at the Emirates to be their 12th man. So I think the atmosphere is going to be really good. It is probably Arsenal's biggest game of the season now, and it is probably their biggest games for the last 2-3 years as well. It's looking quite evident that they are not going to win the league. They are out of all the cups as well. So the Champions League is basically the best chance for Arsenal to win any trophies this season. Real Madrid, on the other hand, they are in the title race. They lost over the weekend, but luckily for them, Barcelona ended up drawing as well. So the gap for the league title is not that much, but their concentration is going to be on the Champions League tie as well. I think it's going to be quite an interesting game. The sort of the tie that we expect, I don't think it is gonna happen. As an Arsenal fan, I wanted Real Madrid instead of Atletico Madrid, because I prefer playing Real, because they are gonna come out and play attacking football, irrespective instead of Atletico, who I really did not think would have done that. And I think Arsenal players and Arteta, I think they would be also really happy that they are playing Real instead of Atletico. I think it will be quite an entertaining game. I don't think we are going to get that many goals because of how injury hit both of these sides are. But in the end, I am expecting a draw out of this game. I am going for a 1-1 draw in the first leg between Real Madrid and Arsenal. Moving from one Spanish giants to the other, it is Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund. Now, this is quite an interesting time because both of these teams have already met each other early on in the season, and Barcelona ended up winning quite late in that game. So I expect a sort of almost a similar game to this. We are going to be at the Barca's home stadium as well. As I said, the Barcelona ended up drawing over the weekend, so that title charge is still on. They would have been quite disappointed, the players and the fans and everybody, that they were not able to increase their lead to 6 points in the league. But this is a new, a different competition. They are playing against Borussia Dortmund side, who are sort of, they have been. This is the problem with Borussia Dortmund, that they have been so inconsistent. Even if you look at their last 5 games, and it's 2 wins, 2 defeats, and then 2 wins yet again. They will play a game where they will be super magnificent, and it would look like they are the world beaters, and then they go ahead in the following game and they would be so poor. So you really don't know which Dortmund side is gonna come up, and then you are playing against a Barcelona side. I would say, if all, apart from PSG, I think they currently have the best squad in a way. They are the most settled squad out of the 8, if I'm being very honest with you. And I think it is gonna be an easy night for Barcelona. I don't mean to no disrespect towards Borussia Dortmund. I could be completely wrong. As I said, you really don't know which Dortmund is gonna turn up for the game. But it is an away leg. Barca have been really good, and they're scoring goals for fun. That is the main thing, Barca, they are going to score the goals no matter what. And I think Dortmund, with the way that they are playing, it is again going to be, I think, probably the most entertaining game, because both of these sides are not going to sit back. Both of them are going to come out, and they are going to play their football, and so you are going to get a good amount of goals. And that is why I think this is going to be the most high scoring tie as well. But for the first leg, I think Barcelona are going to edge it. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Barcelona. And the final quarterfinal, it is PSG versus Aston Villa. If you look at the scores, if you look at the positions of the bottom of the teams, this is quite possibly the biggest difference between the two teams competing against each other. PSG, they became French champions over the weekend. They are now the champions of France yet again. So they are going to be in a really good mood. This could hinder them in a way as well, maybe because they could have celebrated quite a lot before the game. So that is could come into play as well. But of course, you have experienced players there. The manager is quite experienced. He would have known how to keep his young squad under the radar, to make sure that they are ready for the tie against Aston Villa, was their important tie. Because let's be very honest, PSG have been winning the French league for a number of years, and the basic one thing that that the holy grail for PSG and their owners is the Champions League. They want to win the Champions League. So I think this could be one of those years where they really fancy themselves. They have already eliminated one of the favorites of the tournament in Liverpool in round of 16, and they have got another English competition in Aston Villa in this round. Speaking of Aston Villa, I mean, they are coming in this game with a great run of form, 7 game winning streak at the moment, so their confidence is going to be really high. They are playing for the quarterfinal for the first time. They are playing against PSG for the first time as well, and they know how much of a big challenge it is for them, because they are going to the place of the champions. But they will be very quite hopeful. The way that they played against Club Brugge in round of 16 was probably one of the easiest ones of the ties as well. And then they have defeated already Bayern Munich in the competition, so it's not like they cannot do it, and they have the score as well. It's going to be quite interesting. Unai Emery returning to PSG, because he really did not have a good time there as well. So there are a lot of incidents involved in this, a lot of stories, small stories in this game as well. I think it is going to be quite a tough game. I think this is going to be, it could turn out to be quite a boring game, if I'm being honest with you. And that is why I'm going for a 0-0 between PSG and Aston Villa. And these are my predictions for the first leg of the quarterfinals in the Champions League. Let me know what you guys thought of my predictions in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well. Click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the season, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.